hope you're all well. Today we are going to be doing a little bit of a different video. For those of you that don't know, I love my movies, so we're going to be doing a if you really enjoyed this movie then I think you should read this book. But before we get into that, I really wanted to thank the sponsor of this video, who are Ana Luisa. I have worked with Ana Luisa before and I'm so excited to be partnering up with them again for this sponsored video. And for this one we are going to be talking about Mother's Day, which is coming up in a couple of days. It is at the end of this week in the UK, and I'm really excited because I managed to get my mum a piece of jewellery that I think she's going to absolutely love from Ana Luisa. If you don't know who Ana Luisa are, they are a company that produce high quality jewellery pieces at affordable prices. They are carbon neutral from their packaging to their products themselves, because they do care about the planet, which I really love. I love that in a company because I do try and do my best to do what I can to help care for the planet. So buying jewellery from a company that also has that in mind is great. And I think that their products are quite unique, and I think they're just absolutely beautiful as well. So I'll show you the three products that I got. So the first item that I got was the toad earrings. I have gotten these for my mum for Mother's Day. I think she's gonna absolutely love them. She loves like a small huggy type earring like this, and I think she's gonna really love the design of these, and also how they'll fit in her ear as well. I think they're going to be really easy to put on, so yeah, I think she's going to absolutely adore these. So I'm really glad I've managed to grab a set of these. I then got myself the Jack's ring. I've had my eye on this for a while now. It's absolutely beautiful and it fits so nicely. And Ana Luisa have a really easy ring measuring system on their website as well. All you need to do is have a look through their website to find it. But I just did a quick Google of ring sizes and then Ana Luisa, and it took me straight to the page. So if you are unsure on your ring size, you will be able to hunt it down with some tips on how to get that. And it was very accurate as well, so that's great. And then I also treated myself to the tier medium gold hoop earrings as well, which I currently have in. I also have the ring on. Obviously I'm not wearing the earrings that I've got for my mum, but I really fancied some new hoop earrings. I haven't had hoop earrings in such a long time and I really wanted to get a set. So I'm really glad that I've managed to get a set of these as well. They're really pretty. And if you would like to know more about Ana Luisa, I will leave a link to them in the description box down below so you can go and check them out. Please do so. Have a scroll through their website. They've got some gorgeous pieces. I got some gorgeous pieces last time, a necklace set, I got a bracelet and also a set of earrings, and they're absolutely stunning. I do wear them very regularly and they're still in amazing condition, so I would highly recommend checking them out. And Ana Luisa currently have a 20% off site-wide sale, so it is the perfect time to go and get your mum something just a little bit extra special for Mother's Day this year. I would highly recommend, so please do go and check them out. These are the earrings that I've currently got in, and this is the ring that I am currently wearing also. So yeah, please do go and check them out. The link is in the description box down below and I would highly recommend it. And thank you again to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video. I really do appreciate it and it's amazing to be working with you again. So thank you so much. So let's get into the video. My first recommendation is going to be, if you liked the movie Pretty Woman, I love this movie. It's so good. I would recommend you read the book The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. I don't know how many people have seen this resemblance, but I spotted it straight away because this is one of my favourite movies of all time and it's one of my comfort movies as well. So when I'm feeling down in the dumps and I need to pick me up, this is what I put on. So this is following our main characters, Vivian and also Edward. Vivian is a hooker, and one day she ends up getting picked up by Edward, who has found himself a little bit lost in Hollywood and he's not really too sure where he's going. He picks Vivian up, and what happens is there ends up being several days, I think over the course of about a week, he ends up paying her to stay with him and he treats her to new clothes, and as she goes to fancy places with him, he's a very rich man essentially, and at the end of the week she's essentially fallen in love with him and he's fallen in love with her, but they're refusing to admit it, and then she gets really mad and storms off, and you know, the love story. So I absolutely love this. I love that it's a different type of story in the whole hooker sense and things like that. Now in The Kiss Quotient we have Stella, who has Asperger's, and her mother has been mithering her for years that she needs to settle down. However, Stella likes things done a certain way, and nobody else seems to be able to do it that way except for her. So she really struggles with dating and things like that. In fact, she struggles that much, she's never done it before. And she decides to enlist the help of Michael, who is a male escort, to help her, show her what it's like to be in a relationship, how to be in a relationship, how to, you know, have sex with a man, things like that. So this story kind of ensues, and you can see the parallels here between, you know, the hooker side of things, the male escort side of things, and things just kind of going not the way that the people involved thought they were going to go. And I love both of these stories so much. This is definitely a comfort movie for me, and I would highly recommend it if you have not seen it. It's fantastic. But this is also a very incredibly good book, and I really enjoyed it. Not an Own Voices review on this. I do not have Asperger's, so please do go and check those out if you would like to check how the representation in here is. But again, I loved that element of that in here as well. I thought it was very well done. Again, not Own Voices review, so please do go check that out. But I would pair these two together. I would highly recommend. Next, if you loved Men in Black, I would recommend reading Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. I absolutely love this book. It's so good, and I cannot wait for the next one to come out. This movie is following these two men who are men in black. I haven't seen this in so long. So we're following Agent J, who's played by Will Smith, and we're also following Agent K, who's played by Tommy Lee Jones. And there are alien terrorists in town, and basically they work for this very low-key place, and, you know, try and blast them back to their own galaxy. And it's hilarious, and it's really good, and I really enjoy it. Now the reason I get the parallels with this one is that we're following our main character Amari, and her brother Quentin has gone missing. Now it turns out that he worked for the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs, and this is where I get the parallels, because the place that Quentin worked for sounds very much like the place where Agent J and Agent K work. So it's just very similar. There are aliens in this as well, and it's just really good. I really enjoyed this book, and I just all the way through got the Men in Black parallels. So I really did enjoy this, and I would combine the two together. Not as hilarious as the movie, but still a very good read, and I would recommend. Now I have two movies here. If you liked Pacific Rim and or Real Steel, I would recommend the book Hard Reboot by Django Wexler. Now these two movies are similar but different. Pacific Rim is following a group of people. Essentially we're on Earth, but in such a way that there are kaiju who are attacking Earth, and we have massive man-controlled robots done in such a way that there are two pilots, and the pilots are connected via the, you know, like brainwaves and stuff, so you can touch into each other's memories and things like that. And we're following Charlie Hunnam and Idris Elba and a whole bunch of other characters, and I absolutely love this movie, not just because it's Charlie Hunnam and Idris Elba, but they play a huge part in that. Again, very much a comfort movie for me. If I want an action comfort movie, this is the one I go to. So massive man-run robots fighting kaiju, and in this one we have robots fighting, but they aren't man-run. There isn't a man inside it, there is a man controlling it, and that man is Hugh Jackman. And in this one, basically his son ends up coming to stay with him. He hasn't had anything to do with his son. I think his mother has passed or something, and instead of going with his grandparents, he goes with his dad. And Hugh Jackman is a bit of a gambler, and he has been betting too much on his own robot, and also trying to set up his own robot to be able to fight in like the world championship robot fighting thing or whatever. And he's ended up spending way too much money, and his gym is going into disarray, and his manager's on his back, and now he's got his son in tow, and it turns out that his son may have an eye for things like this and may be able to help him out. So fighting robots in both of these, very good movies, would recommend. And then the book that I'm going to recommend you is Hard Reboot by Django Wexler. This is a Tor novella, didn't take me very long to get through at all, but this has fighting robots in it, and it's queer, and I would recommend. I had the best time with this. It was fantastic. Before I even picked it up, I'm fairly certain that it doesn't say it on the back of here, but in the sheet of paper that Jade got when Tor sent her this, it literally said that this was like Pacific Rim. Literally compared it to Pacific Rim. Anything compared to Pacific Rim, I'm picking up. Like, hands down, I'm picking it up. So it literally said it in the note that came with the book, but I would recommend. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it, and for such a small book, so much happened. It really packed a lot in. Kind of hope Django Wexler turns this into a bit of a series, but I loved it. And at the bottom it says giant freaking robots from Sylvain Nouvelle. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you want giant freaking robots, I recommend these movies and this book. Then I have, if you like Guardians of the Galaxy, which I freaking love because it's a Marvel movie, I would recommend Aurora Rising by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. You might think this is a reasonably strange pairing, but the reason why I compare these two is because it's basically a whole bunch of wild people that end up being forced together and become found family. That's literally the reason. That's it. Also in space and fighting aliens, you know, but that's the reason. Found family. That's the recommendation. If you don't know what Guardians of the Galaxy is, it is about a bunch of people that end up coming together by accident and end up having to fight a whole bunch of aliens. And then Aurora Rising is essentially, again, a whole bunch of people that end up coming together. They end up being put together accidentally, and they have to fight a bunch of aliens, and Aurora is at the middle of it. She is front and center, and she is a big part of the story, and it's very, very good, both of them. I highly recommend. But again, the whole reason, just a random bunch of people that are completely freaking wild, thrown together. They've got all the sass, they've got all the personalities, and they become found family, and I just love it, and I would recommend. Also recommend the audiobook for this one because it's got it's a multiple cast, you know. There's a whole bunch of people doing the audiobook, so I would recommend if you're into your audiobooks. Then I have, if you like Groundhog Day, which I don't own a physical copy of, so if you like Groundhog Day, I would recommend Inner Holidays by Christina Lauren. This is literally written as, it literally mentions like Groundhog Day, fairly certain it does. But it's done in such a way that it's got a Groundhog Day-esque feel to it. So if you don't know what Groundhog Day is about, it's got Bill Murray in it, and essentially he is like a weatherman, and he goes to this town in which they have this groundhog that every year predicts the weather. And he ends up stuck in this cycle, this loop, where he ends up replaying the same day over and over and over and over and over again. And he's not sure how to get out of the loop. However, what ends up happening is that he ends up falling for another reporter, and he obviously has to start his entire day again. So he learns more and more about this reporter until he gets to a point where he's trying to make this reporter fall in love with him in one day, and it's really good, and I really enjoy it. It can become repetitive, but it's hilarious. Bill Murray is fantastic. He is so funny. And in Inner Holidays by Christina Lauren, we're following our main character, May, who basically goes on the last Christmas trip. She doesn't realise at the time that it's the last Christmas trip with family friends to the cabin that they've been going to every single year for Christmas. She obviously goes with her family, and then there's two other families I think that they go with, but the family that own the cabin are selling it on, and she doesn't know this until towards the end of the holiday. And on her way home, she's in love with one of the brothers of the other family as well. And on her way home, she ends up in a car accident, and then she finds herself waking up, landing on the plane to start the holiday again. And she's in a Groundhog Day cycle. The Groundhog Day element isn't ridiculously prevalent in this, but it does go on a little bit, but not too much. I know that G did read this one and she hoped for a bit more Groundhog Day in. But there isn't a great deal, which I was kind of thankful for, because I know that it can get to a point where it is quite repetitive, and albeit this isn't as comedic as the movie, so the movie gets away with it a little bit more, it would have become very, very boring in this book. But I really enjoyed it. There is a romance obviously in here, but I thought that it was really, really good, and I just enjoyed the parallels between Groundhog Day and also Inner Holidays with a bit of a twist. So it was really good, and I would recommend. And then the sixth and final recommendation I have for you is if you like the movie A Christmas Carol, any variation of it quite frankly, but I love the one with Sir Patrick Stewart. It is my favourite. I adore Sir Patrick Stewart. I would recommend The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This is literally a Christmas Carol reimagining, but which is obviously, it's so clearly obvious why I have these parallels. So I'm essentially just, you know, there's no need for this recommendation, but I love this book and I don't think I see it about enough. Maybe it was like about back in the day when it first came out, but I think this is a really good reimagining of A Christmas Carol. If you don't know what the story of A Christmas Carol is, I don't know what rock you've been living under, to be perfectly honest, but we follow this man called Scrooge who's very, very grumpy, and basically he doesn't treat people very well at all, not even his staff. And then one year around Christmas time, Christmas Eve I think it is actually, he gets visited by 3 ghosts. Ghost of his Christmas past, ghost of his Christmas future, and ghost of his Christmas present. That didn't make sense the order I said it in, but you know where I'm going with this. So he gets visited by all these ghosts, and the idea is that it changes him for the better, and on Christmas morning he wakes up full of the joys of spring, Christmas, and has changed his ways and decides to treat people better. In this one, it's a little bit different. It's a very similar story, but it's quite different, and I really enjoyed the ways that it was different. So we're following Holly Chase, who essentially on Christmas Eve 5 years ago was visited by 3 ghosts who showed her how selfish and spoiled she'd become. They tried to convince her to mend her ways, she didn't, and then she died. Now she's stuck working for the top secret company Project Scrooge as the latest ghost of Christmas past. Every year they save another miserable grouch. Every year Holly stays frozen 17 while her family and friends go on living without her. So far Holly's afterlife has been miserable, but this year everything's about to change, and it's a really, really interesting story. I know quite a few people may have seen the twist towards the end of this coming. I did not, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic, and I would recommend. So if you like A Christmas Carol, I would recommend The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. And those are my recommendations for you. I hope you have enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below if you like this type of video. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like me to do more movie stuff, or if you'd want me to do another round of this. I will dig deep and try and find some more recommendations for you. Let me know if you've got any recommendations like this though. If you liked this movie, try reading this book type recommendations, because I love this type of video. I'm really excited to be doing this type of video, so yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Chat to me, and if you don't want to chat to me, leave a movie type emoji, you know, like the cut boards, I don't know what they're called. I love movies, but I have no idea what one of those is called, or you know, like a camera or something. So yeah, chat to me in the comments down below, and thank you again to Anna Louisa for sponsoring this video. Again, links in the description box down below if you want to go and check them out. Think about getting something for your mum for Mother's Day, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.